Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all. For me, there's something about these colder and darker months that really makes me hyper aware of my skin's needs. It feels like the perfect time to be a little bit more intentional with our self-care routine. And my perspective on this has been deeply shaped by my work in the hospital. Every day I witness the most profound spectrum of the aging process. I see patients in their mid-90s who sit up straight for their morning visit, dressed flawlessly with a book in hand, their skin weathered but radiant. They have aged so gracefully. And then I see others, sometimes decades younger, who seem to have been let down by their bodies, with sallow skin and a profound lack of vitality. It's a powerful daily reminder for me personally that aging is not just a number. It's a complex interplay of our genetics, our lifestyle, our environment, and crucially, the very building blocks of our body. And one of the most fundamental of those building blocks is the protein we are going to dive deep into today: collagen. There's so much hype and confusion around it. Should you be drinking it, eating it, applying it to your skin? And in this video, we will cover topics like: should you be using a collagen powder? Which skincare ingredients do and which do not boost your collagen production? And do infrared light masks work? And of course, we will talk about how you can support your body's natural production in a holistic and mindful way. But before we begin, just bear with me for one moment. Because while a lot of my content is about natural medicine, spirituality, inner peace and mindfulness, for a while I've struggled with how to approach topics like this without feeling like I'm contributing to the noise and pressure around appearance. Seeing so many beautiful women online every day, and also seeing the treatments and procedures they are getting, and sometimes even advertising, in all of this noise, it has been a real challenge for me to find my own personal red lines. And I don't judge anyone else's decisions, but I knew that I had to protect my own heart and mind from that constant pressure around appearance. I believe everyone has to find their own red line between vanity and altering God's creation on the one side and purposeful self-care on the other. Ideally, you can find the answer to this question with the guidance of a trusted person of Islamic knowledge. And what also helped me personally put everything into perspective was thinking about my children. I'm a mother of 2 boys, alhamdulillah. But I often think that if Allah ever gifted me with a daughter, it would truly break my heart to see her struggle with her appearance because of unattainable beauty standards. What would I advise her to do if she came to me at 16 or 20 saying she wanted fuller lips or preventive Botox? Would I endorse her going through that physical and psychological pain? Or would I sit her down and talk to her and try to teach her a more holistic, a more gentle, and a more God-centric picture of beauty? So while we can decide to maintain or even improve our appearance, we must always take a step back and adjust our mindset. It's, as always, about finding the middle way, a balance between enjoying self-care and protecting our inner peace. I'm sorry for drifting off a little, but it felt important to share that before we start. But now let's start with the basics. What is collagen? The word itself comes from the Greek word kolla, which means glue, and indeed you can think of collagen as the glue that holds your body together. It's the most abundant protein in our bodies, making up about 1/3 of our total protein content. But it's not just one thing. Collagen is a family of proteins with at least 28 different types identified. But for our purposes today, we will focus on the main ones. Type 1, this is the most important one for your skin. It makes up about 90% of your body's collagen and is responsible for providing your skin with its structure, strength, and elasticity. It's also the main component of your bones, tendons, and ligaments. Type 2. This one is found primarily in cartilage, making it crucial for joint health. And type 3. This often works alongside type 1 collagen and can be found in skin, muscles, and blood vessels. In your skin, collagen fibers create a dense network upon which new skin cells can grow. It works hand in hand with another critical protein called elastin, which gives your skin its ability to snap back. The crucial thing to understand is that our bodies naturally produce collagen. It's a constant cycle of production and breakdown. But starting in our mid-20s, we begin to lose about 1 to 1.5% of our collagen per year. This process is accelerated by factors like sun exposure, and this seems to be the number one factor, but also smoking, chronic stress, lack of sleep, and a diet high in sugar, because this causes a process called glycation, where sugar molecules damage collagen fibers. For me, when I'm talking about boosting collagen, the goal isn't to somehow stop aging. Aging is a natural and beautiful process. The goal is to support our body's innate ability to produce and maintain healthy collagen for as long as possible. We want to prevent injuries, but also age gracefully, from the inside out. Now, when it comes to collagen supplementation, I'm a bit torn. The marketing seems to intensify each day, whether it's for collagen powders, pills, gummies, coffee creamers, etc. Most of these products are significantly overpriced, especially when you consider their source: animal byproducts from the meat industry. But does collagen supplementation even work? At first glance, the idea that oral collagen could benefit skin or joints seems biologically inconsistent. When we consume any protein, including collagen, our digestive system breaks it down into its basic building blocks, amino acids and small peptides. These components then enter the bloodstream, becoming part of the body's general pool of resources. Logically, these amino acids could be used for any of the body's needs, from building muscle to creating enzymes, not specifically for producing new collagen. So how could ingesting collagen directly lead to more collagen in the skin? The leading theory, which attempts to resolve this paradox, centers on hydrolyzed collagen, also called collagen peptides. Hydrolysis pre-breaks the large collagen molecules into much smaller, more bioavailable peptides. The proposed mechanism suggests that these specific peptides are not just passive building blocks, but may act as bioactive messengers. They are believed to function as signaling molecules for fibroblasts, the cells in our skin and joints responsible for producing collagen. These peptides may stimulate the fibroblasts to ramp up their own production of new collagen and other supportive structural proteins like elastin and hyaluronic acid. So for me, the critical question was, how strong is the evidence for this messenger theory? A significant number of in vitro lab studies on cells and in vivo studies on animals and humans appear to support this mechanism. However, a substantial portion of this research has been funded or conducted by companies within the collagen supplement industry. Most of the time, whether on YouTube or other social media platforms, influencers will advise you to use some sort of oral collagen, citing large studies to support their claims. But if you click on the link and check the funding section, you will find the same donors time and time again. Therefore, while the proposed mechanism is plausible and supported by some published research, the claim that hydrolyzed collagen peptides act as targeted messengers cannot yet be considered conclusively proven. Also, keep in mind that most hydrolyzed collagen powders are made from animal byproducts, mostly derived from cows and pigs. Since profit margins in the meat industry are very tight, the parts of animals that cannot be sold as meat play a growing role in the profits of factory farming, a system often linked to animal cruelty and deforestation. Marine collagen does not seem to be much better, as it's derived from fish skins and is criticized for contributing to lethal bycatch and the overall decimation of oceans and marine life. That's why I would personally advise against using a collagen supplement at this point in time, and instead consider some of the following whole food approaches. So when it comes to diet, and if you're not vegetarian, the first one would be bone broth, ideally self-made or sourced from a local and trusted butcher. Bone broth is made by simmering animal bones and connective tissues, which allows collagen and other minerals to leach into the water. From a nutritional standpoint, it's a source of the same amino acids that make up collagen: glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. It's also rich in minerals like calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. I generally advise being very mindful when it comes to the consumption of meat or animal products from unknown sources. Islam teaches us that if we kill an animal, it should be with respect and care. For me, that means that I'd rather eat meat once a month if it is sourced from a regional farm, slaughtered according to Islamic principles, and therefore way more expensive than normal meat. But that also means that if I eat meat, I would try to waste as little as possible. So bone broth seems like a perfect way to respect these principles, and at the same time it can be part of a collagen supportive diet. And if you're completely avoiding meat or you can't find a good butcher in your region, of course you can also boost your collagen production by ensuring your body has all the raw materials and cofactors it needs. First thing would be eating foods rich in vitamin C. This is arguably the most critical cofactor. Your body cannot link amino acids together to form collagen without vitamin C. The most powerful proof of this is a historical illness you might recall: scurvy, the old misery of sailors on long expeditions with no fresh fruits or vegetables. Without vitamin C, their body's collagen production collapsed, leading to bleeding gums, wounds that wouldn't heal, and even death. That shows how vital this vitamin is for holding our bodies together. You can get it from bell peppers, citrus fruits, kiwi, broccoli, strawberries, and Brussels sprouts, for example. Second are the trace minerals zinc and copper. Zinc is a cofactor for collagen synthesizing enzymes, and copper is crucial for the enzyme that stabilizes and strengthens the collagen fibers. You can find zinc in pumpkin seeds, lentils, chickpeas, whole grains, and red meat in moderation, and copper in sesame seeds, cashews, lentils, dark chocolate, and avocados. And third, prioritize high-quality protein. Your body can't make collagen if it doesn't have enough total protein, and you don't necessarily need collagen-specific amino acids. Providing a diverse supply of all amino acids gives your body the flexibility to build what it needs. What I see every day, especially with older patients, is protein malnutrition that directly leads to delayed wound healing and thin, fragile skin, because the body lacks the resources for repair. So try to consume protein-rich foods like lentils, beans, chickpeas, tofu, tempeh, eggs, dairy, and fish. And especially if your parents are older or your grandparents are still around, remind them to get enough protein in. And one thing I want to emphasize is that when we talk about collagen, it's so easy to only think about our skin. But what truly struck me, especially when treating geriatric patients, is its absolutely vital role in something that defines our quality of life as we age, and that is our mobility. So let's think beyond the skin for a moment. Remember, I mentioned type 2 collagen and cartilage and type 1 in tendons and ligaments. But the same natural decline that happens in our skin also happens in your joints and tendons. As we lose collagen over time, cartilage becomes thinner, weaker, and less resilient. Tendons and ligaments lose their elasticity and become more prone to micro tears. If your grandfather or your grandmother is still around, go and ask them what they suffer most from at their age. I would guess knee or hip pain is one of the most common answers, as well as loneliness. That's your reminder to call or visit them. So, if you want to move without pain when you get older, try to support your collagen production and stay away from the unhealthy habits I mentioned earlier. All of this should remind you that when we talk about supporting collagen, we're not being vain or just investing in our reflection in the mirror. We're investing in our ability to move without pain, to stay active, and to prevent the injuries that can so dramatically limit our lives as we get older. It's about building a body that is as resilient on the inside as it appears on the outside. Let's start with topical collagen in creams and serums. Here is the evidence-based truth. Applying collagen directly onto your skin in a cream is largely ineffective, because collagen molecules are simply too large to penetrate the outermost layer of your skin, the epidermis. They will just sit on the surface. They might contain other beneficial ingredients that can help your skin depending on the exact ingredient, but they're not in any way directly helping with collagen production, no matter how heavily they are advertised. But there are ingredients that do actively signal for more collagen, and they are supported by a lot of good evidence. First, retinoids. This is the gold standard for most dermatologists, the most proven topical treatment we have. Retinoids are vitamin A derivatives. At cell level, they bind to receptors in your skin, and you could say they instruct your fibroblasts to produce new collagen and to slow down its breakdown. The original and primary indication for retinoids in dermatology was not anti-aging, but the treatment of severe cystic acne. But when dermatologists and patients observed these positive side effects, clinical studies in the 1980s were started. And these studies demonstrated that tretinoin, a high-strength form of vitamin A, could actually reverse photoaging from sun damage. They increase the production of natural chemicals like hyaluronic acid in your skin that keep it plump and moist. They stimulate collagen production and inhibit its breakdown. But they also block several inflammatory pathways that would otherwise lead to acne. However, and this is a medical warning, retinoids are contraindicated during pregnancy, breastfeeding, and for those actively trying to conceive. High doses of vitamin A systemically are proven to cause severe birth defects. The risk from topical application is considered very low, but since the potential consequence is too great, they are not advised during this time. But for everyone else, retinoids like tretinoin are most potent but should always be introduced slowly, since they can irritate your skin and make it flaky in the beginning. And you should consult a dermatologist first. But there are also a lot of good over-the-counter retinols that are quite effective, especially when used consistently. So if you're not breastfeeding or pregnant and want to improve the collagen production of your skin, you could start with a 0.1% retinol cream. And if your skin tolerates it, work your way up to higher percentages. Second are vitamin C serums. Vitamin C is a known antioxidant that plays a crucial role in our nutrition. We talked about this earlier. But vitamin C is also doing a lot for our skin when used topically. For example, it shields the skin by acting as an antioxidant that neutralizes free radicals from sun and air pollution. It also stimulates our skin's own production of collagen by providing an essential component that our fibroblasts need to build it. It is also known to brighten the skin and fading dark spots and hyperpigmentation. And lastly, it supports your sunscreen's effectiveness by providing a complementary layer of protection against free radical damage from UV radiation. When choosing a vitamin C serum, you should consider the following. First would be the form. L-ascorbic acid is the gold standard and the most researched form. It's potent but can be irritating for sensitive skin. Derivatives are more gentle alternatives because they are later converted to L-ascorbic acid in the skin. So this could be a good choice for sensitive skin or if you're new to vitamin C. Second, the concentration. For L-ascorbic acid, studies show efficacy between 10 and 20%, but for starters 10% is more than enough. And third, packaging. Because vitamin C degrades and oxidizes when it gets exposed to light and air, you should always go for a dark glass bottle with a dropper or an opaque airless pump. And lastly, peptide creams. While collagen creams are ineffective because the collagen molecules are too big to penetrate your skin, there are specific peptide sequences that are small enough to penetrate the skin. Most of them mimic existing peptides in our bodies and can act as signaling molecules or as carriers for essential minerals like copper and therefore can help with wound healing, or they inhibit enzymes that break down collagen. The evidence for peptides is promising, but generally considered a few steps below retinoids and vitamin C in terms of potency. And since it's relatively new on the market, peptide products can be very pricey. I personally decided against using it because of the high price and lack of data. Now that you've heard about the 3 ways with the highest evidence to boost your collagen production topically, please keep something in mind. Obsessing over creams and serums, introducing 10 new steps to your skincare routine each week, or just using products that are too harsh for your skin type will not help you in any way. All of this could lead to your skin becoming more sensitive or even inflamed, which will hasten the aging process of your skin instead of stopping it. And when using a new product, trust yourself more than the influencer who raved about a specific product. If you feel your skin is burning or turning red, stop using the product. So be mindful. Use a few products, but use them consistently. I, for example, try to stick to the same products each day. A retinoid and a moisturizer in the evening, and a vitamin C serum and SPF in the morning. That's it. Also, remember that a good skincare routine can never compensate for an unhealthy lifestyle. So if you're not covering up and are constantly exposing your skin to the sun and even getting sunburns, if you're smoking, if you're eating a lot of refined sugar and not getting enough of sleep, you can use the best serums and creams, but you will not get good results. I'm sure you've all seen this trend, infrared light masks. I have to admit my first thought was, not another overpriced gadget that doesn't live up to the hype. However, when I researched the topic, at first glance it seemed like a quite promising treatment method. Not only for skin aging, but also for knee and hip pain. The technology behind it is called photobiomodulation. It uses specific wavelengths of light, typically red and near-infrared light, to stimulate cellular activity. Some studies have concluded that red light therapy could relieve pain and improve physical function in patients with knee osteoarthritis. Others found it beneficial for managing pain, reducing inflammation, and improving joint function by energizing the cells within the joint, calming the inflammatory response, and encouraging repair. When it comes to skin aging, other studies suggest that red light therapy shows promise for treating skin aging with improvements in skin elasticity, roughness, and collagen density. However, the key caveat is that the results are highly dependent on the exact wavelength, the energy output, and the treatment protocol. Also, a lot of the studies show small patient cohorts and industry funding. So the verdict for me, it's a potentially useful non-invasive tool. But when it comes to these sometimes very expensive devices, the evidence should be rock solid. I would love to be corrected. If you have found some well-conducted studies with no conflict of interest, please send them my way, but for the moment, I am not convinced. So if we want to support our collagen, I believe in a layered, holistic approach. And I think just taking a pill or a powder is not the answer. To summarize briefly, number 1 is good diet, because your body can't build collagen without the right tools. So ensure you're getting enough protein, vitamin C, zinc and copper. If you think you need to supplement, please check the source and purity of the product first. When it comes to lifestyle, first is sunscreen. The best way to do that is covering your skin with clothes, since it protects existing collagen from UV damage. Then sleep, so your body can do its repair work, including collagen production. Then manage your stress, because high cortisol levels break down collagen, and avoid smoking and limit sugar, since they directly damage collagen fibers. When it comes to skincare, try to make your daily skincare as easy to follow as possible so you can be consistent with it. For the evening, consider a retinoid, and for the morning you could use a vitamin C serum followed by your daily SPF. And only if you have extra time and extra money, you could consider devices like infrared masks or panels. Now I want to take a moment to connect this to our beliefs. As Muslims, we believe that our bodies are an amana, a sacred trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Caring for our bodies, nourishing them with good food, protecting them from harm, and seeking vitality is an act of worship. It's how we show gratitude for this incredible gift. It allows us to have the energy and strength to serve our families, our communities, and to fulfill our purpose. So when you think about aging, don't fear it out of vanity. Look forward to the path ahead of you, to a lifetime of habits, of movement, of mindful eating, of connection and of purpose. And please always remember, we can do everything to support our health, but still have a stroke in our 20s, because only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Hayyul Qayyum, the ever-living, the sustainer of all existence. So see your health and every year that God grants you as a means to serve Him rather than our own fleeting desires. And that's a reminder for myself first. That's it for today. Stay blessed. Assalamu alaikum.